Happy Mercury Day, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Star Watch, which is a weekly astrological transit report for Wednesday, November 2nd. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. For those of you who are new, my name is Jane. Thank you all so much for being here. Now, this is like the big week, right? The big week that we've been talking about for weeks now. Where we are having the big full moon total lunar eclipse happening at 16 degrees of Taurus, exactly conjunct Uranus. Okay, so there's this buildup of energy, but it may not be as active for a lot of people. Maybe not for everybody, but for a lot of people, it may not be the most active. And let me kind of go through the moon's path here over the next couple of days. Let's follow what the moon is doing so that we can properly honor what's really happening. Now, as of now, okay, the moon has officially entered into Pisces today. All right. So the moon, at the time of you watching this, the moon is in Pisces. And as it makes its way tomorrow, late evening, or late afternoon, early evening tomorrow, we can see that the moon is going to be making its way into a conjunction with Neptune. Now, at the same time, we have the sun coming into a conjunction with the South Node. Neptune and the South Node are somewhat similar in that there is a detachment going on and we may feel very disconnected. Now, I'm not saying you can't still be focused. I'm not saying you can't still go to work and do your things, because obviously, the axis of Scorpio and Taurus is in some ways very utilitarian, right? Both of these energies like to accomplish and like to get things done. They do it in totally different ways, but they still kind of have that same goal in mind. But yet the moon and the Neptunian energy and the South Node energy may really bring in a lot more of that dreamy factor. Now, this can be a great time for you to just take some rest if you need it. I don't recommend, although the temptation may be there to read a book or to watch a show, get online and watch stuff. I actually think this would be much, much, much better if instead of participating in the creations of others, to take the night to work on your own creations. And these should be things that are fun, not necessarily things you have to do for money or working on client stuff or whatever the case is, but doing the things that really light you on fire. So for example, if you're writing your own book, that would be a great thing to do. If you love to cook or bake, that would also be a great thing to do. To be out in the garden, to write some music, to play your instruments, to dance, to, write in your journal. Okay, all of those things would be highly advantageous for you. And I don't know that this is necessarily going to bring out a ton of insights. It probably won't even be that healing, maybe, but that's not really the goal of it. The goal of it here is just to kind of tap into the more magical aspect of your life, all right? And to tap into you as a creator. Now, I think the bigger insights will happen after the full moon eclipse. So after we have that moment of Uranian energy, as we come off of that, I think things are going to really start clicking into place. And the channeling that you can do here, and when I say channeling, I just mean the desires within you are going to start to bubble up to the surface, and they may come out in some way. And those may be certain things that are going to be involved in your future endeavors somehow, even though you don't quite know exactly how yet. But the moon is here, and as we make our way into Friday, we can see that the moon is going to come into that conjunction with Jupiter, which is sitting at the 29th degree of Pisces as well. Now, this is going to be a great day for belief in oneself, all right? Because there may be a tendency with the sun in the South Node to go through a period of self-doubt. All right, to go through a period of self-doubt and to go through a period of imposter syndrome or feeling unsure, feeling insecure, all those types of things. But this is going to be a time for you to say, you know what, I I don't have to indulge in those things. Jupiter definitely doesn't want to indulge in those things. He's like, why are you wasting your time being so negative? Like, look at how much abundance is available to you. Look at all of the potential. Look at all of the wealth and prosperity that this world brings. Like, why are you focused on such little things? And why are you imploding in on yourself? Why are you allowing your fear to take over? You know, he's going to kind of help you balance that out and to focus a little bit more toward the most good. All right. And then as the moon makes its way the next day, on Saturday, we can see that it's going to come into this conjunction with Chiron, which is, we can see, first of all, it's in Mars ruled Aries, in an inconjunct or a quincunx over here with Sun and South Node, which are exactly together in Mars ruled Scorpio. There is this quality here of healing, but I don't know that this healing is going to take place through emotional purge, although maybe for some of you it might. I actually think the healing is going to be done through action. And the Mars retrograde is giving us an opportunity to be much more purposeful. As I've been saying, actually, really, this was at the beginning of the October readings. I said October is going to be a time of making purposeful, well-intentioned decisions and choices. And that energy is absolutely going to continue throughout November. And here we are, November 1st, and we have that. Okay, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to make the best possible decision for this next little thing that I'm needing to do. And then I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to do that again and again and again. And I'm always going to choose the best possible thing. And that's how the healing is really going to occur. Now, if you need to do emotional purge, if you need to cry, if you need to get it out, that's fine. Please do that. But don't let that overtake the power of taking small action. Because what's going to happen as the moon makes its way in the 7th, right, on the 7th of November, the day before the eclipse, it's going to make its way into its sign of exaltation. And the real question here as we make our way, and we'll talk more about this next week as well, after the eclipse, is what is the next really big step that I'm going to need to take? And we've been doing a lot of small steps lately. We've been taking, logical steps, which is good. I'm not saying it's bad. We've been doing, what makes sense. But I think eventually, before March of next year, okay, because March is the big month, all right? We've got Pluto moving signs, we've got Saturn moving signs, and we even have Mars coming out of Gemini at the end of the month as well, which is where it will have been for 7 months at that point. So we have a lot of transitions happening in March. And my goodness, between now and March, there's going to be that, like, okay, you need to start taking bigger leaps. You need to bite off bigger pieces of the pie. You need to put yourself out there in a much bigger way, in a more prominent, like, you need to take up more space, right? Because Uranus, when he does his volatility, he's not just like a smooth curve of up and down. He's like big jagged jolts. He's like up and down, up and down. Like, he represents like massive crashes and massive bumps. It's like, this is like lottery winning type of change. Okay, now I'm not saying y'all are going to win the lottery, but I am saying that's kind of the quality. Now, will it happen on the day of the eclipse? No, probably not. But it will likely happen in the months following as we come down off of that intensity. And if we purposefully choose to take bigger leaps, and it's like the bigger the leaps we take, the more committed we become, right? Because the more invested we become. And the more invested we become, the more likely we are to continue to perpetuate that path because we are so invested. Like, it makes it harder to walk away. And I think for those of you who are in your heart of hearts are saying, yes, that's what I want, you are going to start to feel really ready to take those big leaps, because you know that if you're committed, then you're committed, and that's it, right? If you're committed, then you're committed. And you might as well go all in right away. rather than tiptoeing and, dipping your toe in the water to continue seeing how it feels, even though you've already been doing that all year, And I think a lot of people's minds are going to be very, very clear on the 7th and the 8th. Your minds are going to be clear. It's like the universal mind has made itself up, right? It's officially drawing the line. And I think you're going to be very accepting of that, because as we make our way into a full moon, right? The full moon, there's this profound illumination going on here, right? The sun is shining a light on one of the most fluctuating, inconsistent, unstable planets, right? Because the moon, it's, getting brighter, it's getting darker, it's going up, it's going down. I mean, it's like one of the most wobbly planets out there, and it's the fastest moving planet. So the sun is really illuminating within ourselves our own instability and our own inconsistency. And the fact that we had been inconsistent with something probably makes sense as to why we didn't really succeed to the degree that we wanted to succeed. And so now we have that opportunity to say, all right, well, clearly that methodology is not working for me anymore, so I'm going to change it up. I'm going to change the way I go about doing things. And luckily, this is happening after the Sun, Mercury, and Venus are already on the other side of the South Node. And because they are officially separating away from the South Node does not have as much influence, which means you're not like heading into that black hole, you're actually leaving it. So there is kind of like this never look back energy. And I've actually been saying that since July. We had that full moon in Capricorn, I think it was like July 16th or something like that. And I told you, I was like, this is the point of no return. And every month I keep repeating myself over and over and over and over, point of no return, point of no return. And I think that's becoming so obvious now. Between July and now, I bet if you were being, you don't have to be brutally honest. It's just like if you were objective, if you were objectively looking at your life, you would say, yeah, like that's obvious. I'm never going to go back there. I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to allow myself to be in that station anymore. Now, I did want to kind of click forward just a little bit to the full moon that we're having in Gemini. So I'm just going to go forward another month because just to kind of prepare us. So here we can see the sun is sitting at 15 degrees and the full moon in Gemini, which is happening on December 7th, is going to be conjunct Mars as well. And because Mars is retrograde and we are in this very fiery season here, even Venus is going to be in Sagittarius as well. Obviously, we're coming off of eclipse season now, and this is like the first full moon after eclipses, so it won't be as intense. But there is a probability that one of these big leaps that you're going to take is going to be around this time, the beginning of December. So like a month from now, that this is going to be like the first big jump that you make. And you'll be happy about this. I guarantee it. I guarantee you'll be happy because Sagittarius is offering, that expansive place. And remember back in Leo season, I told you that we were on this fire sign trajectory, right? We kind of plant seeds in Aries. And then in Leo, we tend to build on that because that's a very creative time. But we don't really see the benefits of things until we hit Sagittarius season, because that's when everything can really expand in the way that Jupiterian rulership enables expansion. And because Jupiter is actually still going to be here in Pisces, but it's officially moving direct. So Jupiter is still in rulership. It's not in Sagittarius, but it is in rulership in Pisces here. So yes, it is still in rulership. So this is going to be a good time for us. And the belief that we have in ourselves will be strong and enhanced as well. So that's why we're going to feel a little bit more unstoppable. We're going to feel omnipotent, if you will, like we cannot fail. Even if it doesn't work out exactly as we want, we still can't fail. So prepare yourself for that. I just wanted to skip ahead a little bit to kind of give you a little preview of what's coming up in December, so that you realize that this moon is happening conjunct Mars as well. So officially we've had full moons conjunct Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, Uranus, and then the last one is going to be Mars. I don't think Mars is going to be as powerful because it is a lower, like kind of a personality planet. It's not one of these huge big planets, but it is still, it's Mars. It's still Mars, okay? All right, so I'm going to leave you with that. We're going to keep it super short and sweet this week. Good luck, you guys, with the eclipse. Take the rest that you need over the next couple of days. Please do not feel guilty about that. Tap into your creativity. Listen to some really amazing music while you're doing the things that you love. And can't wait to hear all about it. All right, thank you all so much. Have a good one. Take care.